Our manufacturer part information is another important piece we rely on in order to make sure we are creating valuable schematics. There are several different methods to choose from in order to enter this information into our database. We can unarchive an existing library, we can use the import wizard with an Excel spreadsheet, or we can use the most basic way to add our part information, which is to manually enter the information. In order to manually enter the part information, first we need to open the manufacturer part library manager. Next, we'll select Add Manufacturer Part. At this point, we can add all the necessary information that pertains to this part. We're only required to enter a minimum of the part reference, aka its part number, and the manufacturer name. But it's a good idea to enter as much information in these fields as we can, including the class we want our part to be sorted under, the type of part we're adding, a general description, and even the vendor and their stock number. The more information we include will only help us later as we generate reports, or in general it may open up communication and better understanding between everyone on our team. In addition, there are fields for supplementary information that pertain to our new part. If we've also created a custom symbol for our new part, we can simply point to it in our database. That way, every time we use this particular part, we can be sure we're using the correct symbol. We can also associate this part to a 2D footprint, a connection label, and a 3D part. One thing to note is that if we decide to associate our part to a 2D footprint, the overall size of the part is driven from the width, height, and depth that we see here. And remember, it's in millimeters, so we might have to do some math. Once the part properties have been filled in, we can now add circuit and terminal information. First, we'll need to add a circuit. And then we need to choose what type of circuit we want this to be associated as. Choosing the appropriate circuit type can be important, especially if we're dealing with specific components, such as a power supply or a PLC, where we might have various types of terminals on our component. A quick note, if we're not sure what type of circuit we want to choose, the most frequent types used are called terminal and miscellaneous. Once we create a circuit, we can now add as many terminals as needed. The first thing we notice with each terminal is the circuit and index. These are important to remember when we decide to associate our part to a 3D solid part. For more information on this, search for Electric Brewery and Electrical Component Wizard. The other fields we may want to add information to are the mark and the mnemonic fields. The mark field refers to the terminal naming convention on the part, for example, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or A, B, C, D. The mnemonic is an extra field we can use to help figure out what the terminal is being used for example, 5 volts DC or ground. Once we've added all this valuable information and created our new part, it's now saved to our database for all of our users to start using in their projects.